Welcome to Canyonlands National Park, Needles District. Hey folks, Crimson Blaze here. Welcome to the channel. I am back on trail and I'm going to be out here for 2 days, 1 night, and I'm going to be doing 2 of the more popular hikes here in the Needles District. I'm going to be doing the Chesler Park Loop and the Druid Arch. It is the beginning of March and it is a beautiful weekend. Now the weather can be hit or miss in the Canyonlands Moab area. But right now, it is blue skies. It's probably about 50 degrees. And that's really the forecast over the next 2 days. Probably high of 55, maybe 60. But it is going to get cold. So the low is going to drop down below freezing to around 28 degrees. So nothing that my quilt can't handle. But right now, it is a beautiful day out here. So I'm about 3 miles in now on the Big Spring Canyon Trail and finally starting to get out of the canyon. You can see over there, that's where I came from. And I've been in the canyon where there's a lot of trees, kind of shrubs. But now I'm starting to get out, big open views. And I think I have a little gnarly climb coming up. So check this out. Wow. Whew. That is stunning. Whew. Let me catch my breath a little bit. Whew. Oh, so yeah, that last little stretch is just, scrambling up that slick rock. Be sure to follow the cairns and I'll lead you right up to here. Whew. So I have backpacked out in this area before. I did it several years ago with Nate, but we started at the traditional trailhead where most people start if they're going to do Chesler Park or Druid Arch, and that's the Elephant Hill Trailhead. But I wanted to do something a little different, so I started at the Needles Campground at the Squaw Flat Trailhead, I think it's called, and I wanted to take the Big Spring Canyon and hike it into Elephant Canyon on the first day, and then tomorrow I'm gonna hike out Squaw Canyon, which is somewhere over there. It's kind of on the other side. So I just wanted a different viewpoint of coming into Elephant Canyon and Spring Canyon. Big payoff here at the end. But now I do think I've got a little bit of scrambling to do in order to get into Elephant Canyon. So let me check my map and see where I'm supposed to go. One of the reasons I love places like Canyonlands is that I just feel like a kid out here again. I'm just scrambling over rocks, climbing up, climbing down. Definitely adventure. I do think there's a ladder or two on this trail, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, I just love being out here and just kind of exploring a little bit. It's not a natural trail. Like, you need to learn or know how to navigate a little bit. Make sure you're on trail, following those rock cairns, because it's easy to get lost, because there is no trail right now. There is no trail. I'm just following that rock cairn, and then I see one down there. So you really have to pay attention to where you're hiking. But this is so cool. Tight little squeeze there. Didn't have a backpack last time. All right, I'm stuck here. I'm gonna have to take off my backpack and slide it through. Whew. That was a bit tricky with the full backpack. Whew. When Nate and I did it, we just had our day packs on. Whew, so that's tight, especially with the loaded backpack. All right, not too much farther to go, but this is really cool. Whew. That log was a bit sketch. That log's been there for a while. And I thought it was better to come down backwards because there's a little cuts in the log where you can put your feet for a step. So all right, now we can keep going. Well, that was Big Spring Canyon. Pretty cool little trail. Definitely like in the beginning when you're first coming out of the Needles Campground. There's some cool kind of rock scrambling that you got to do as you're dropping into the canyon. And then there at the end, that's just, I love that. When you're hiking on slick rock and falling, the rock cairns, the ladders, the views, that was really, really cool. And now we are in Elephant Canyon, probably less than a mile to get to my campsite. And I'll be staying at EC3. We'll be there real soon. I was looking for EC3 and I just could not find the post that leads you to the campsite. And so I was scrambling around rocks. I did find it because it's on my Onyx map, which is great. So, but now I see it now that I'm up here. So that's the trail that goes to the Druid Arch, and that's the direction I was going. And there's the post right there. I just didn't walk far enough, but looks to be like a pretty good campsite here. Let's set up camp. Tent is set up, and this is a pretty sweet site. Just amazing views. So this is Elephant Canyon campsite number 3. And what I tried to do was set up my tent in a place where the sun is going to hit it the longest. Because I think as soon as that sun goes behind the rocks, it's going to start getting really cold. So I'm trying to keep my tent in the sun as long as I can. Now I'm just trying to figure out what I need to do today, because I was hoping to get here around 2:30, 3 o'clock and hike the Chester Park Loop, which is around 8 miles from this campsite. Well, it's almost 4 o'clock. And so that means if that were to take me about 4 hours, I would get back to camp at 8 and it's dark. That's not a huge deal. But, you know, I'd rather have some better light when I'm doing Chester Park. So I think what I'm going to do instead is do the Druid Arch hike. That's kind of an out and back. It's 2 miles there, so 4 miles out and back. And I think that's what I'm going to do. So then I can get back to camp around 6 o'clock, have dinner, and then get ready for tomorrow. All right, let me throw my gear into my tent and let's head out. And we are off to Druid Arch. For the most part, you're walking in a wash, but you got to be very mindful of the rock cairns because every now and then they dip out, and it's a little easier to walk on the trail than the sand in the wash. And when you get closer to Druid Arch, it actually branches off and up to the left. So if you continue following the wash, you'll run into a dead end. The lighting is absolutely fantastic on these rocks. Oh, it is so nice. It's probably about 4:30. I'll be curious to see what it looks like on the arch. So I think half of it may be in the sun, the other half may be in the shade. But man, this is definitely the beginning of that golden hour where the sun is just, you know, just beautiful. As it's lighting up these rocks. It's nice. So about 1.5 miles in, you're going to see these rock cairns here. And that's when you got to start climbing up and around. Otherwise, I do think there's a water hole over there. Has always looked kind of disgusting to me. But if you need water in a pinch, you could probably get it from there. But now we've left the wash and we're going to climb. If I remember right, I think there's at least one ladder. Whoops. Whew. So yeah, it's sand on that rock. Whew. Be careful. Like I said, there's a little bit of climbing. Here's a water hole I was telling you about. If you were to stay in the wash, this is where you would come to. So if you are in a pinch and you need some water, then when you come back, just don't take that left of the trail, just keep on going and you can filter out that water. But I don't know if I'd stick my big toe in that water. Just how stagnant and green it looks. Yeah, don't know. There she is, Druid Arch. So we're coming at it from an angle. That's it right there. So you won't be able to see it until we climb up and get to the side of it. But it's Druid Arch. Slick sand, maybe not. Feel my feet to give way. Let's try this side. So you can see the arch, but you can't see the arch. But oh, this area here is beautiful. So you got some rock cairns here, going to take you off, and what you're going to need to do is start climbing up and around there and up, and then you can have a good view of the arch. Time for another ladder. Some railings. Oh yeah, that's a great view there. Okay. Whew, all right. One last little climb. Little. First good view of the arch. But it gets better, trust me. Still have a steep climb to go, but it definitely gets better. And not just of the arch. The arch is beautiful, especially with the sun setting. Looks like it has good lighting. But you look back at like the Needles and Chestler Park, so that's looks like it's gonna be all lit up. So there's a beautiful view if you're keep on going. Another 10th A mile maybe. Where are the rock cairns? Okay. We are almost there. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. This is awesome. Just make sure I don't trip again. Alright. Here's Druid Arch. Looking back of the Needles. That's pretty good. I'm gonna try to walk around here a little more, see if I can get a better angle. Looking back, oh yeah, wow. Oh wow. Since I started hiking, I have not sat down, so it feels good to sit down, you know, enjoy the arch, enjoy the view of the Needles, and this really is a beautiful hike. Definitely recommend making that final scramble push up to the rocks up here, where you can have just these amazing views. And I am loving it during the evening. I wasn't quite sure how it was going to look, but it looks really cool. But I need to be heading back. I think I'm going to get back maybe a little bit in the dark. Sunset's around 6:20, and right now, yeah, it's 5:40. So I could get back maybe around 6:30. So it's going to be a little dark, but it's clear blue skies, moon's out, so I should be okay. I'm just ready to get back into my tent, into my camp clothes, and start cooking some dinner. All right, folks, see you at camp. Well, I'm glad to be back in my tent and starting to cook my dinner. I did get back a little bit after dark. My eyes were adjusted, so I didn't need a headlamp or anything. But it was getting dark and it was getting cold. So I was ready to just get into my warm clothes here, which has been great. I have my, my nice smelly. I even have a new Christmas gift here, which these are down pants, and they are awesome. They are keeping me warm right now. Probably not going to sleep in them. They'll probably be too hot, but I think in the morning I'm going to be glad to have these down pants while I'm getting ready. So looking forward to that. But yeah, I'm just, heating up my ramen noodles, waiting for that to rehydrate, because I am I am starving. But today was just a beautiful day. Loved Big Spring Canyon Trail, especially the part where you come out of the canyon and you connect with the Elephant Canyon Trail. That was my favorite part of the day. Just the big open views, the weather was perfect, blue skies, little, adventure, climbing on the rocks, and I always love that. It makes me feel like I'm a kid again. And same with the Druid Arch. That was beautiful, especially seeing the sun set on the rocks. That was really cool. Druid Arch isn't a typical looking arch, so I like that part. And then the scramble. Again, I love the scrambling up rocks and finding the trail. I love that part about Canyonlands and a lot of these Utah trips that I do. That's probably my favorite thing. But it was really, really a fabulous day today. And I'm probably going to end this video with this trip. So you'll need to stay tuned for next week if you want to see me hike Chester Park. I'm going to do that loop, and then I'm going to hike out on Squaw Canyon Trail, which I've never done. And that connects back to the Needles Campground. But you'll need to tune in next week to watch that video. All right, folks, thanks for watching. Until my next adventure, keep on blazing.